Hello, it's Krystal Hille here, CEO of Hille House Publishing. And in this video, I'm going to take you through a brief explanation of what it might look like to work with us and what is that journey of becoming an author with Hille House Publishing and also a little bit in general. So often I get asked, what makes you unique? Why should we work with you? So let me just give you a very brief introduction of who I am and how I came to work in this field of hybrid publishing. At the age of 9, I loved writing. So I was always writing. I still have my first story that I wrote at the age of 9. As a teenager, I wrote poetry and I made sense of the world and my place in it, and reflecting on my identity and who I am through poetry and through writing. I loved reading. I loved diving into different realities and exploring different characters through literature. And I had this real interest in people. Why do people do what they do? What makes them tick? What makes some successful and others not? Why do some have more friends than others? And all of that. So I was a very deep thinker. And this love for human behavior and this love for literature really accompanied me all my life. Initially, I thought I was going to become a psychologist, but then realized I didn't like to box people in. I was too much of a creative spirit. So I explored my other love of literature instead. I moved from Germany, where I grew up, to the UK initially for a gap year, but then realized that I wanted to study there. So I studied English literature and theater studies, have a BA honors in that. I ended up then um, using that to become a theater director. And here I brought stories alive on stage. It was also here where I continued studying human behavior through characters that I brought alive on stage. I harnessed my leadership skills by being a director and helping the actors bring the best out of them in on stage. And one of the biggest compliments I got is that I help the that when I was working at a drama school, I was the in-house one of the in-house drama teachers, and was saying to me, Krystal, they're all being themselves, but in the character. So he complimented me on bringing their own personality alive on stage through the character, and I feel like that is a gift that I just thought, well, doesn't everybody do that? I'm sure you have that as well when you have that moment of realization there's something that you're very good at and you thought everybody did it the same way, but they don't. So I have this innate ability to see people and bring the best out of them, which then translated into me moving from the UK to Australia following a dream and many synchronicities. And it was here that I wrote myself into clarity. In fact, with this book here, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, it's a really, really incredible book that really unlocks our innate creative genius and releases the self-critique or the inner critic. Um, I then found life coaching in 2008, way before everybody became a transformational life coach. So I studied life coaching and NLP, and I really focused on helping women in particular to be in their own sense of empowerment. Empowerment is one of my core values, helping myself to be sovereign and helping my clients to be sovereign, living their best life. And I know that's a cliche, but really, how do we release our patterns, release our conditioning, and step into the fullness of who we truly are without the fears, to express courageously our essence and step into the gifts that we came here to bring to the world. That is what I'm passionate about. And so, fast forward after doing that with clients in real life, there came a point where COVID didn't just shut the doors on my events that I was running and my retreats, it also shut the door on my marriage. And it is then when I realized that I had gone down a path of disempowerment where I was becoming somebody I was not. And I realized that in order to be a good role model for my children and keep my soul alive. I had to get out. I had to do something else. And that really was the rock bottom of realizing how disempowered I had really been. Like I'd known that that was my theme and my passion to help others, and we always teach what we need to learn. So I learned what anxiety is really like, was really like. It was a very horrific breakup, a horrific divorce. And I slowly rebuilt myself. And what got me through is that, the universe threw me a lifeline through publishing. I rediscovered my love for stories. And it was also during COVID when I realized that there was so much fear mongering. I mean, you all know, remember that, so much fear mongering. And I really said, well, we need other stories. We need a different narrative in the collective so that we can gain inspiration and hope and continue stepping into the empowerment, because the fear was disempowering absolutely everyone. And I was like, how can I empower the aspiring thought leaders, the healers, the coaches, those who have the wisdom? How can I empower them to share a different narrative? At first, I thought I was going to coach them to overcome the witch wound, where we feel like if we speak our truth, we'll be burnt at the stake. But then it became publishing because I was not in a position to hold space in coaching. And it was publishing where I was surrounding myself with the healers and the coaches and helping them to share their stories, that I continued in my purpose work, that I continued to help empower, that I continued to really help them embody their gifts on a broader scale. And that's really what I love doing and why I love doing what I do. So bringing years and decades of personal development and understanding to this publishing work so that I can help my clients understand their patterns, see the core theme in their life, and help them bring that out. So let's focus on Let me share, sorry, that was just this thinking. So the problems that I've realized a lot of people are having is that they have doubts about, is my story good enough? Actually, I'll share that when I share my screen. Um, so there's the aligned author pathway that we have at Hille House Publishing. It starts with the aligned writers community, which is ideal for you if you're like, I know I need to write a book, but I'm not a good writer. I don't know what to do, and who even am I? Like, if there's too many doubts, you come into that community and you will be held and nurtured until you're ready to say, right, I'm ready now, I can write. Then we have the 5 author anthologies, which are compilation books where 5 aspiring authors come together, healers, coaches, people on a mission, on who have a purpose, come together to write a book with 5 authors, each writing 10,000 words. I no longer do the regular compilation books because I feel like there's a lot of other people doing them. And when I did a lot of them, and I just felt like people were tired of them. It was saturated, but it is a great way to dip your toes into the waters. But I want to give now people the opportunity to write 10,000 words instead of 3,000, and dive a little bit deeper while still in the container of a group of like-minded change makers. So that is our 5 author anthologies. Then the next one is the Aligned Author Sanctuary, which is a 4-month program where I help you to craft and write your transformational business book. Now, it doesn't have to be a business book. You may be coming in because you want to leave a legacy, you have a story to share. It's not necessarily about business for you. But I would say that 85% of my clients come to me because they want to create a book that will give them the credibility and the authority in their field. So let me share my screen. And of course, after that, we have publishing packages as well, where you can publish your book with us, and there's different options that we have. So let's see what's happening here. Um, that's not what I wanted to share. Let me just quickly stop here, go to the other one. Give me a moment. I had it all ready and then it disappeared as we love technology. So here we go. Sharing my screen. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. Pop myself over here. I will go into the share button to make it bigger for you, presenting it here. Now, thank you for your patience. Let us go back. Let us go back. There we go. Okay, so step one. So here I'm now going to share with you the journey that I take you on when you come into our Aligned Author Sanctuary. The way I also work like that in the 5 author anthologies. So at first we need to abolish the myth and let go of the misconceptions about publishing and writing a book. And often these are things like, who am I to write a book? You know, my story doesn't matter. There's other people who've already written about this, so why should I add another book about it? I'm not a good writer. So all of these myths need to be deleted, and I'll do separate videos about that because basically that's not the truth. In essence, the truth is that you are a unique expression of the universe, and as such, you bring a unique perspective to anything that we want to share. There are universal themes that we all connect with, but it is how you approach that universal theme that makes you unique and therefore worthy of sharing your story. It's the combination of everything else, right? It's what makes you unique. And the more you dive into your biography and your story and reflect on that, the clearer and more crystallized that becomes. So that is the first step, just letting go of those myths, right? The second step is, I can't read it because the screen sharing thing is align for achievement. So what does that mean? It really just means that we are figuring out why we write the book. What are we writing it for? What is the call that we're answering, right? There's many people who want to write a book and dream of writing a book, but to actually answer the call and not just refuse it is what happens really in that first step, and is what you're aligning to in that second step here. Moving into the next slide. Sorry, I've got too many things in the way that are not letting me click the next one. See if I can. Yeah. Now I've got a pen here. That's interesting. Okay, I didn't know you could do that in presentation mode. Just give me a second. Let's go out of this because I cannot go to the next slide. What you get? Come on, stop. Stop. Okay, this is going to be entertaining. Why can't I, what? Why can't I do what I want to do? Might have to edit this, but I don't like editing videos. So there we go. There it is. Okay, step 7, anchoring intentions. This is your why. This is the very thing that will help you to keep going. Why do you do what you do? For yourself, for your own expansion, for the reader's transformation, for your business expansion, and for the world's raising elevation of consciousness. So how are you contributing to, what is your book contributing to the world? What makes this a book that needs to be written? What makes it unique? That is what this is really answering. The next one here is assemble your ideas. So this is where the brainstorming starts to happen. We ground our intentions in the element of earth, really grounding everything in. And I work a lot with the elements. So we activate the earth, the empress, to ground our ideas so that we are solid. When we move into the brainstorming phase where we're actually still identifying our ideal reader, our niche, the core idea. What is the problem that you're solving? What's the unique solution you're providing? And what is the transformation that the reader goes through? And in doing so, like on that transformation, we then also outline the book, looking at the mini transformation in each chapter, looking at the teaching points in each chapter, looking at the stories that you put into each chapter, and looking at certain tools or exercises that you may include. So this is really creating the outline is really a very, very important step on the journey. I also work with the framework of Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. So there's 12 phases in the hero's journey that he created based on mythology and based on the archetypal universal journey that we all go through in our lives. It starts with hearing the call, refusing the call, stepping out of the ordinary world, hearing the call, refusing the call, accepting the call, then embarking on that journey where we encounter the tests, the enemies, and the friends. We're approaching the innermost cave. We're being faced with our biggest challenge, the biggest ordeal. We then get the reward. And then we're going on the road back, looking at, bringing that back, but we still have to face um, a challenge, a test. Then there's the resurrection, the road back, and then we return with the elixir, with the treasure that we have learned. And then we're looking at each. I don't do copy cut. I don't do copy cutter approaches. We look at each person's outline. Does the hero's journey fit for you? Is it the heroine's journey, the female version that you need, or is it none at all because you're writing more about a framework with principles and steps that don't really fit into that? So we take it case by case, and I help you with that outline so that you come out with a framework that really suits your intention and your journey. Usually, if it's a teaching memoir where you're using your journey, your personal story, and then teasing out the themes and the teaching points, the hero's journey lends itself very well to that particular book. If it's more of a, you've got a framework of 5 pillars, but they're interchangeable, and depending on where your clients are at, you might start at a different principle, and so then we need a different structure. So that's all of what's happening here in that brainstorming phase where we're assembling our ideas. Next, and it's in the way again, so I cannot for the life of me. There we go. 6 and 7. Here we go. The next one is articulate your book. So you can see I'm playing with A's here. It's this is really where you write your book, and you're writing it strategically and intuitively. So I'm going to give you ways in which you can use AI, but also ways in which you can tap into stream of consciousness writing. I'm blending the two together so that we use AI to speed up, but we don't use it to write the book for us. And the same goes here. Like, I have found ways in which we can really use AI to our advantage without making it replace our soul, right? That's really important, that your unique essence comes through. And I have beautiful processes and tools that will help you do that. So that's what happens in the writing process. So during that time, we have weekly meetings where you then get feedback from me on what you have done in that process. Also, there's a content library with some writing trainings about, how to really craft a powerful story, how to involve the senses, how do we show, not tell, how do we write in an active language, how do we create an open loop, and how do we close the loop so that we keep that reader going with us all the way and engage them. So, and how do we structure each chapter so that it becomes truly transformational for the reader? So we go through that. This is a longer phase because you're clearly writing all of your chapters. There are semi-ghost writing approaches where you can speak your chapter, transcribe your chapter. So there's numerous ways in which I support you on that, and where the group really comes in helpful, becomes very handy. So next we go into, Next, we go into the amplifying connections. Okay, so this is something that we talk about. This is part of the publishing package. How do you create your tribe? How do you create a following that of raving fans, of ideal clients that are wanting to get your book when it comes out? So as you come in closer to working with an editor and fine-tuning your book, you will build a lead magnet and create, bringing people into to bring people into your world. So you have a mailing list that you can actually then share the book with. This is not included in the solo book incubator, or rather the aligned author sanctuary. But it is certainly something that we talk about building your, there's a training about how do you build your tribe. So more of a theory for you to think about. Then we go into the publishing. This I do have a comprehensive package where you can have the publishing included. You can also create that separately. So this is where you're now talking to an editor. Formatting means the interior layout of your book. We talk about cover designs here. And then, of course, there's also marketing materials and graphics and all of that, all in readiness to share your book with the world. So that is part of the publishing package. What else have we got? Finally, almost finally, just ignore that one. Here we go. Accelerate your launch. So strategically launch and create a launch strategy so that you can capitalize on your book's success and bring people not just to your book, but then also into your high ticket program or any other program that you have, so that they not just learn the book from the book, but also experience you, because the book teaches them how to do something, but often, well, not often, 93% of people actually need the hand holding and the implementation in their, with their unique particular case. So I can teach, like with a book, for example, I can teach you all the things, and you can go away and do it by yourself. But studies have shown that actually only, is it 3%? I think it's only 3% of people actually are able to implement and come up with a finished product just by having learned it alone. Most people need hand holding and guiding, to have somebody there to help you implement the learnings into your unique and apply it to your unique case, in this case, to your unique book. So it's the same with your work. Once you've got that book and your content, your readers will need you to implement that into their unique circumstances. So that is the framework. This is how I work. This is how I incorporate things. And I trust this has given you just a little bit of a roadmap of what might be possible when we work together. I am very much an activator. I motivate, I inspire you to really share the depth of your message and deal with any of the fears that may be coming up that cause procrastination, avoidance, overwhelm. We cover it all in our weekly meetings, which are coaching sessions where each person gets to sit in the hot seat and learn from one another and really break through whatever's coming up, so that by the end you have a book that you can be proud of and that will change lives and bring you the recognition and the clients that you desire and give you the impact that you came here to make. So go ahead and book a session with me so we can have a chat and look at where you're at on that journey and what support I may be able to give you. It's been wonderful spending this time with you, and I look forward to connecting further. Bye for now.